also recording so that we can share it also later on LinkedIn and YouTube. So welcome everyone, really a pleasure to see you here, and welcome to this special online conversation hosted by Move into the Future and the Wize Move Society, the online community for the over 50 generation. So the Wize generation is growing rapidly. We're living longer, are longer healthy and active, and are better educated than ever. There are many reasons why this generation should play an active role in the economy and in society a lot longer than they expected when they started their career. So we believe that the over 50 generation has a significant role to play in the creation of the future. We just need to tap into their knowledge, experience, and wisdom. With these Tuesday live conversations, we aim to give you a glimpse of what is happening online on the Wize Move Society, to share a bit about both the challenges and the opportunities, and as well as how the members of the Wize Move Society work together to create solutions and play an active role in society. We're clear that we're not on our way out, but part of the future. So for those who join us on Zoom, we love you to contribute to the conversation. So if you've joined us on Facebook, please share your feedback and comments and questions in the comments. So my name is Ingo Bol. I'm the founder of Move into the Future and the creator of the Wize Move Society. I'm here today with my co-host, Dr. Tatjana Rosen, and our special guests, Aline Zaka from Lebanon, Konstantina Sofikiti from Greece, and Rosalie Gorgorian from Cyprus. And I hope I pronounced everything right. So I met these three wonderful women last November at a conference in Cyprus, where I was leading a panel with actually the same topic as today, different generations, one vision. During that conversation that we had, some statements were addressed that made us decide that we need to talk more. We need to be aware of the challenges of all generations who are now part of the workforce and the workplace. We need to address these challenges so we can together create that multi-generational workforce. So, and as you can see, the three guests are not part of the 50 plus generation. And that is also so good why we have these different generations here in this conversation. So before we dive into the topic, I would like to ask my co-host Tatjana to introduce herself and share a bit more about her background. And she will pass on the stage to Aline, Konstantina, and Rosalie.
Thank you, Ingon. Hello, everyone. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, depending where you are. So I'm a psychologist and I'm a researcher, and my area of research is in midlife transitions and aging at work. So what happens to us at work as we get older and as our lives getting more complicated and complex? And how can we have a better outcome out of those experiences that we have? So I'm really interested in all generations, because there's no midlife without a young life, without a childhood, without all the other stages that come before that. And the same way is, if we understand what we've done well, we can always anticipate what can we prepare for the future. So I'm delighted you are joining us here today to talk about multi-generations, or the different generations in one go. I think that's a nice vision to start and to work together. So I will let you kickstart. On my screen, I have Alan next to me. So should I ask you to come and introduce yourself first, and then we'll take it from there. Thank you. Welcome.
Hi, thank you, Tatjana. Thank you so much, Ingo, for having us here on this special live Facebook with wonderful ladies that I also met in Cyprus 2 months ago, and we enjoyed this panel together. Let me just quickly introduce myself before I give the stage to Konstantina. My name is Ali Zaka, and I'm founder and owner of Net to Work Branding, where I do CEO branding and reputation management for leaders. 6 years ago, I started my own business, and I was pioneer in the market in this field in the Middle East. Let's say wherever I go, I love to get my edge. And once it's done, I go and search for more opportunities and more challenges in life. I'm a mother of a 7 years old daughter. And I have a background of 12 years experience in digital marketing. I started my business from home, and I always worked from home next to my family, next to my daughter. It's a big challenge to have a family and being a business owner, but everything is going fine because I'm someone, I always persevere, and I'm always determined to win and win big.
Constantina, yes, you're next.
Yeah. Constantina, it's your turn now.
You're on mute.
Now I'm okay?
Yes.
Perfect. So thank you very much, Aline. And thank you also, Ms. Ingun, for giving us the opportunity to be part again of this online course and having the opportunity to exchange our experiences and our knowledge and our way of thinking. So my name is Konstantina Sofikiti. I'm an entrepreneurship based in Athens of Greece. I'm the founder of Mode Group of companies, and it's a company which consists of different business activities. I started investing at the age of 23, a small capital which I earned from my salaries, where I used to work as a journalist. And I first started to invest my first own money in a private school. So I invested to private education. Then I skipped, and I also made an experiment to the beauty industry. Now I have 3 stores of for women, where they can do their pedicure and manicure. And also I'm going to announce to you first, I'm going to open my first restaurant here in Athens in Greece. Generally, I'm sure that we're going to discuss today very nice things, because for me, during this journey, I lived the last almost decade. I meted people who are younger than me, who are older than me, but from each person, regardless their age, I have to take something. So for me, it's not about the age, it's about the vision and how determined is someone to do the idea, their vision, action. So thank you for being here today, for having me today here. So Rosalie.
Hi, everyone. Thank you very much for having me here today. Happy to see familiar faces again, even though we're not next to each other today. My name is Rosalie Gorgorian. I am originally Armenian, born and raised in Cyprus. And my background is in economics, finance, and energy trade and finance. I have work experience in London, where I also studied there. I worked at Bloomberg as my first job. And then I moved into a startup asset management and advisory company. And it was very different working environments. I then decided to leave London and come back to Cyprus to join my family business. We are industrial and commercial distributors of around 50 international brands. So I joined as a business development and strategy head of the company. And I came back in 2018. I also joined a political party at the time, and I was a parliamentary candidate last May, and I did well for the first time, and we can talk about that experience as well. And I'm also on several boards. One of them is BPW. I don't know if women know about it, but it's the Business Professional Women. It's an international organization, which we can also talk about. And I'm also a member of WICI, which is Women's Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry. And basically we enhance relationships between Cyprus and India. And I'm also in the board of the Armenian National Committee, which is again in the international board. And we basically fight for the rights of Armenians globally. So I keep busy, and I'm happy to share all my experiences with you and also learn from you. Thank you.
Well, I think you understand why we invited these ladies. What is so good about your, sharing who you are is that, you see entrepreneurship, you see business ownership, you see startups, you see corporate work, you see politics. It's, there's so much there that is really refreshing. I really love it that there's already so much initiative, and you're all three members of society, active members of society. So that is also why we think that it's a great group to move into that conversation about age. And I love it what you say, Constantina. It is not about age, it's about vision, it is about action, because that actually is, if we stop talking about age, then we see the person behind it and what they can bring to the economy and to society. But there is this thing, there is this situation right now that the whole, if you look at demography, is being faced with a fast growing group of older people, 50 plus generation in a community. And what has happened, and it's in the world, and what you have seen normally is what has happened, that the younger generation who come from whatever they've been doing on their education, they go and make a career, they move up the ladder. And then there's this time that they retire, that is almost history, because there's only few people who can and will retire at 65, 66, 67, etc. So this is something that we also mentioned in Cyprus 2 months ago. And one of the things, Rosalie, that was, let's start with you, is what you mentioned. And that was really something that I thought, okay, this is real what you see. And that is what you said, okay, politically being involved in what is happening on Cyprus, I see there is a challenge. The growing group of older people, that's real. But you also really mentioned...
Een ogenblik.
I'm sorry, that is
dit heb ik op het web gevonden voor Chiller Stede Growing.
My siren talking to me, my phone. The other thing that you mentioned is they are blocking my way to the top. Love to hear more about what you see. We didn't have a lot of time, but I do, especially when you are involved in politics in your country. And I know that you're also involved in what is going on European level. What do you see happening?
Yeah, thank you. So it is indeed a problem. Demographically, we have an aging population. So in simple terms, there are more people that need to receive a pension than people who are actively working at the moment. So if you do the math, it doesn't make sense. Already in Cyprus, for example, they have decreased. So let's say if you retire at 63 instead of 65, your pension is less. So they're making people work till 65, right? You don't have an incentive to retire at 63 anymore. So they're pushing people to retire later, but we have less people working, okay? And this is to save this problem in a way, to allow people to work more so they can get pensions later. This is one solution, but you can't change the fact that less kids were born in that period of time, so there will be less people working. So this is a problem that's not only in Cyprus. I think it's a global issue. And the thing is that what I said in our previous panel that you are mentioning now, that they're blocking our way at the top, is so they're trying to fix one problem, but they're causing another one, which is if someone will retire later, then someone's progression in a company may be delayed. It's simple, right? And I think we both agreed when we had a conversation about this, that if we collaborate and the older generation acts more as a mentor to the younger generation rather than on top of them delegating, I think we could fix kind of the issue in a way. And I think that's what you're also trying to achieve.
Yes, thank you. We'll come back to that. Yes, it's because this is a challenge, and it's a real challenge. And I was really happy that you mentioned it. And I do also think that in Cyprus, maybe the numbers are a little bit higher because a lot of people are retiring on Cyprus while the younger generation are leaving. Yeah, so, and you don't know whether they are coming back or not. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so Constantina, wow, you know, you have all these businesses and even now opening a restaurant. Wow, that's fantastic. Yeah, you really have that entrepreneurial spirit to move to the next phase and you know, and see where are the opportunities and what can I do. Yeah, so looking at the whole situation that we just talked about with this growing group of older people, and then you as the younger generation, because no, you're not the youngest. I think Rosalie was the youngest, but you, yes, but you're very young, and but you're such an active member of this whole economy and society, because you're also doing things on the side to help people move forward. So what do you see happening?
You know, I don't know if what I'm going to say is pretty business-wise. I think that things, of course, are going to stay difficult between the generation, the oldest and the youngest. For me, at my company at least, and at the whole process where I started to invest to different sections, business sections, personally, because I was lucky enough before I started my business to have the opportunity to be to work in a TV station where the president didn't see that I was too young to get promoted or I was too young to take many responsibilities. I wanted this luck to share it through my business. So generally at the market, things are very difficult, and things are very difficult for the older generation because it's the economy. Okay, older people means bigger, higher salary, and high salary means higher cost for the business. Second, I faced a situation where the older were not, very open to change the way of thinking in a new corporate environment. So I think the responsible for not being the older generation and also the younger together we have all the responsibility. It's not the fault of the state. It's not the fault of the government. It's also because of us. For example, in my company, I have the general manager of my company is younger than me. He's a great talent. He's 24 years old. He's a great HR manager. But the other manager of, for example, the stores with the beauty salons, there is a very older than me. The manager, she is 46 years old, because she has the knowledge, she's talent. So for me, what I wished for is, okay, personally, I cannot change the government, I cannot change the decision of the politicians, but I, as owner of a company which has many people working for me, I just am looking for, the passion and open minds, just being open-minded to see if I have talent, you have something to give it to me, I'm going to give it back to you, and just to be motivated to work, to love doing something, love creating, not just say, okay, the situation is this, I cannot change this. I think that we can change if we help all together. It's what I see. But for sure, as I can share with you what the situation here in Greece, the older generation do not have many opportunities to find work. Mm-hmm. And if they are in they work in the public section, they can be retired at the age of 68, 70, 72. It depends where they are working.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you. Yes, you've painted the picture well. Okay, so now I'm going to Aline, and then I'm going to hand it over to Tatiana, because I know she has some questions, and then Mary Jane, Deborah, and maybe Diana also will dive in. Aline, for you, it is branding. It is what you call reputation management. And the ones that you are working with, are a good level in organizations. So you must also have older clients who look at this whole branding and reputation management in a whole different way than what the younger ones are doing. Can you share a little bit?
Yes, and trust me, it's not really easy, because I come from a digital background and very strong will to support especially the Arab leaders in the region. And then suddenly I face a client or a potential client who is 50 plus, and he doesn't really understand the importance of LinkedIn, for example, or being in the media from now and then, because they have a different vision than we do as marketeers. It wasn't really happy at the beginning, but so once you start getting your own reputation and being more showing up on social media, and they see you more and more talking about what you know in the field, they will start looking at you in a different way. And that's why I always advise my generation and the next generation who is very active on social media to always brand themselves, even from the school time. Starting from 16 years old, they should start branding themselves, sharing articles, what they know about their field, to talk loudly, share their thoughts with others on social media, and being really very active, and share something useful for the community or in the field where they want to be in the future. As for the elders, it's let's say they are getting used to the idea. At the beginning in 2016, it wasn't really a good idea for them. Like, they were looking at me, who are you to come and tell me who I am? And then I had to show them some examples from Richard Branson, Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid, governor of Dubai. I asked them one question: why do you think those people are on LinkedIn? They are not there to find a job. They are there to be ambassadors of their own companies, of their own countries, to bring investors to their projects, to have a trustworthy brand name. So at the end, I was able to convince them happily that their name is their own brand. It wasn't easy at the beginning to convince them to be on social media. A lot of them are against Facebook and Instagram. Me as well. Sometimes I'm against of branding people on specific platforms, but in some field we should be able to convey the right message and convince them to be there as well. So they help us to create a good strategy for them. It wasn't easy, but it's working better, especially that personal branding became a trend in the market. And they are asking right now about it. And I noticed something very important, especially in the Arab region, for the 50 plus people. Maybe they don't like to do it for themselves, but surely they would appreciate if someone can help their kids who will take the business later on to take it over. So I think there will be a good business for us in the future.
Okay, ladies, thank you. Aline, I have a couple of very quick questions, and then Tatiana, prepare yourself. I was in a book launch this afternoon, Super Age. That's an American, Bradley Sherman, who has written a book, and there's a lot of numbers about the aging population. And I have a question for all of you to answer, just to give you an idea. Which group is the heaviest Apple users? What age group is that? Male, female, man? Well, anyhow, and what age group? Constantina.
What age is that? Because I stopped at
the Apple users. So Apple computers, Apple phones, Apple.
Okay. Generally men, of course, especially at the PC and again computers. But the mobile phones, I think it's the same, female or male. And if I could, say a target group by their age, I would say at these days, if I can mention my experience and share with you through the private school I have, since the age of 3 or 2, they can use the computer and the iPhone better than me. So at the very, very beginning, for the very early steps now. And of course, until, 40, 45,
okay,
they're more familiar to them, the technology.
Okay, so the younger generation. Okay,
yeah.
Rosalie?
Hi. I think the Gen Zs are the biggest users of any sort of technology. So teenagers to early 20s would be the answer, I think. In terms of like gender, I don't know, maybe girls, because I don't know, if I had a daughter, I would want to know where she is more than a boy, because I don't know, it's just safety, I guess. Okay. So, yeah.
Okay. Aline, how about you? What do you think?
Well, I'm an Apple user since 12 years. And imagine one time I was looking for a job consultancy. I saw that there is a consultancy work at Microsoft. I said, no, I'm an Apple user. That much I'm loyal to this brand. So I guess I agree with Rosalie. Most of them are between 16 to 20, 25, 24, 27, let's say even, most of them. And I guess that most of them are women, not men.
Okay, the answer is it's male. That's a good choice. Over 65.
Oh,
Okay, one more question. We have great entrepreneurs here, you know. So who is the chance that you're going to make a startup successful? What age group when you start? Is that between 20 and 30, 30, 40, 40, 50, something? What is the biggest, the group with the highest success rate for a startup age group?
okay. For startup, yeah.
I start? Constantina or...
No, actually, you can say.
Yes,
I say.
in my opinion, you go ahead.
Aline, start Aline, your turn.
Okay. In my opinion, because of digital social media network, between 25 and 30, people start to really win big in entrepreneurship.
Okay. Constantina?
I would almost agree with Aline. From my experience, because I'm a business mentor at Business Hub here of the University of Athens, I see that the more passionate and the most effectively in technology are the students who are 20 to 27.
Okay. Okay, Rosalie?
I feel like this is a trick question again, because we did have a chat. I remember you saying that people who leave their jobs and start something new are also quite successful because of their knowledge and passion. I would always think it's the younger generation, but because we did have this conversation, I'm under the impression that it's the older 65 plus area of age range. So yeah.
Well, in a way, of course, I can imagine there are more young ones who start a business. If you look at the success rate, if you start a business over the age of 50, you are twice. So it is twice the chance that you make it successful. 50% over 50 years make it successful, 60% over 60 years, 70% over 70 years. There's not enough people in their 50s, 60s, and 70s who do start businesses, but it's not only the tech part that counts. You know, there's a lot of businesses that you don't really need that, and that you can drive on the other. So yes, it was a trick question. So Tatjana.
I'm here thinking, yes, those questions were very tricky, and it's very easy to jump on some of misconceptions. And I think that picking on for Constantina was talking about being open, being relatable to the people in front of you, not to age or categories or different images that we have, usually is the way to untangle the whole multi-generation workforce. I'll say another fact that's interesting for you. I work with undergraduates at the university. I have a program that has more than 700 students, and I teach more than 500 students every term. And then one of the things I do is help them to get into employment. So that's part of what I do. And one of the things that sometimes employers say is that the younger graduates are not up to speed with technology. There's a big difference between knowing how to play on your phone and knowing how to use business-based softwares that actually allow you to do a work more effectively. And I'm just like you, Constantine, you're nodding. I was really surprised because that was new information for me, because I thought it would be fine, and maybe someone like me would not be as fine. But actually, it's when we talk about individuals, we'll see that some people are a bit more prone to engage with technology, other people less prone to engage with technology. Some people are more prone to do things, and it's much more about individuals than age categories. So I quite like the idea of engaging with people as human beings and getting their talent out. So I will put this question out there for you ladies of how to break this barrier and how to engage with other people as peers, as colleagues, regardless of their age. And I can start with you, Constantine, and you can jump and bounce the ball to your colleague.
Okay. It's not easy, and I don't think that I have a specific recipe for, you know, to say now we could do this and then things could change. I think we could start individually first. You know, everyone is at its own company to start, you know, thinking maybe things different and change maybe also the way of, you know, choosing people and creating teams. But I don't know, it's a difficult question because I never, you know, try to think a way how to pass this message to another. I don't know. I think I need some help. You know, I could just say that for me, what it really worked when I had to create a team, especially, for example, at my office, where it's not a huge office, okay, where there are about 16 people, different ages, different generations, different you know, experiences, different lives and different family backgrounds. What I used to do is we make team buildings, you know, meetings, but not in the office. We do it outside the office. We organize some trips. We organize some, for example, we go to simple things. We're going for food together. We doing small things that it allows to open up as a person. And this is a reputation for my company here in Athens, that at this company, things are not very corporate, strictly corporately. So maybe this would be a way that we could communicate through social media, this way of, you know, managing a company. I don't know. Maybe I think at this, I think I need your experience also from Aline or Rosalie and ideas.
Thank you, Constantine. I didn't want to put on the spot. Aline?
Yes.
On this part, maybe I can consider old people in business are like angels for us. We learn a lot from them. Whatever any decision I take, I have few people, they are more than 60 years old. I always take their opinion. Even for any specific meeting, I ask them for special advices. My only concern is that they never like to meet on Zoom, and they never like to meet on social media. So it has to be through PR, through a personal relationship with their own circles. And things will happen step by step to get their trust first, and to see us as people, serious people in our business, and how we can add value to their life, and how we can make them feel that they are really useful to us in our life and in our business. So in my opinion, it's all about building relationships and having like 5 to 10 people from different ages, different background, different maybe countries. This is the best way for us to be able to advance in our businesses, whatever we want to expand globally, let's say. I'm just giving some quick ideas. It's a very good question, by the way, Tatiana.
I think this is great. I mean, you talk about, you know, giving something, showing your value, receiving something, receiving some value. And I think the exchange of value, it's something that, yes, if we see
because Tatiana, I noticed, yes, I noticed, Tatiana, many times that they have stories to share with us that we are not aware that it might happen to us in the future. So whenever they share any story, we're like, I love to listen to them and learn from them. They reach, as I said last time to Ingun, when we met in Cyprus, you reach a certain level in life where you start, you want to start giving, and not only earning money. It's about giving. This is the real success for them when they start giving their experience to us.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes,
Okay,
it's
but
is it my turn?
It's your turn, Rosalie.
yes.
I just want to, because there were many ideas mentioned, I just want to stick to the question. So if we can just repeat what exactly it was that has been asked, so I can combine all the answers and answer.
Wow, I think let's see if I can get back there. But
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
how do we make the most of this different generation?
Okay.
How we can help
Yeah.
each other to connect us at a human level rather than those stereotypes. Let's put this way.
From personal experience, I think I can speak from personal experience because I do work with my family, that being uncles and mother, and and we do have a gap of age. And for example, my uncle is retired by law, let's say, but he's still there. So I think what works best is the older generation listening to your new ideas, and at the same time you're learning from mistakes they already tried and failed. Many times I find that something that we see they don't see, or vice versa. So it's good to put both down and discuss. Also, there has been times that from suppliers because they change, right? The suppliers' employees change. And if it's someone younger and then they're talking to someone who's almost 70, they're not going to be able to relate. So even your relationships with the clients need to be the same. So you can't work old school and think that your supplier, your client, or whoever will understand this old school way of working. Simple example, maybe they were used to just calling, but now everyone's just emailing, and you just have to be patient and wait for the answer. You can't just call everyone, So I think there has to be some adjustment and collaboration between the two generations.
Thank you. I like that as well, adjustment. And I think that being flexible, and I will tease you, Mary Jane, because you're very quiet. Being flexible mentally and intellectually allow us to actually connect with different needs and different people and communicate in different languages. And I'm not talking languages as national languages. I mean languages for different age groups and different generations and people from different backgrounds. So I think it takes a lot of that. Thank you. So I teased you, Mary Jane, but
yeah, thank you, Tatiana. I guess the central theme of what I'm hearing here, and for the group here, as some of you know, I turned 67 last year, into my 68th year. Still going strong. I work 60-hour work weeks. I've got a lot of different projects on the go. My husband is in his 75th year, and this week he's been doing trainings with people who are between 20 and 25 years of age for 3 days, back-to-back trainings. And there is, I guess, the biggest desire that I have for all of us, and that includes our generations, the 50 plus, not to put us into silos, not to stereotype us, have the dialogue. And that everything was central to each of you, Rosalie, Constantine, Aline. You all spoke about, having conversations, communication, Tatiana, you mentioned it as well. So this is critical, I think. We all have different needs. And, my sister, where I'm here in West Virginia right now, I live in the Netherlands, but I'm here right now in West Virginia. A better connection today, right, Ingham, than our last conversation? Yeah. I'm on Ethernet here, so we made the investment. And so she's 71, and she's been through so much health problems this past 15 months. She's still working full time. She's on a conference call right now, and then her friends are saying, why don't you retire? She said, why? I love what I do. It engages me. I'm good at what I do. She feels appreciated, rewarded, not just financially, but also when a multi-billion-dollar proposal that she worked on goes through, that's success. That feeling, we don't lose that necessarily when we hit the age of 65. So I guess, yeah, I'm preaching, aren't I? But keep also your minds open. We can have, some of us have open minds when we hit the age of 65. We still are there. We're still open for ideas. We still want that interchange and exchange of ideas. So ask, have the dialogue. That would be my advice to everyone.
Yeah. This afternoon when I was watching at that book launch, and there were so many different opinions, and at one moment he said, especially when you look at the situation at the workplace, how can you create a real multi-generational work environment? He said, well, you can think very hard, but ask everyone what they need, and that is so important. That ask the younger ones what they need. Ask everyone who is there what they need, so that you can, bring it all together and use each other's competences and, each skills and experience and knowledge in quite some different ways. So it's ask and talk, collaborate. Yes, absolutely. Deborah, you obviously have something to say as well. And, for me, you have been a great example, and I'm not going to tell how old you are, but you brought your whole business online when Corona started.
Yeah, I love what I'm hearing. This is such an enlivening conversation, and you're talking about hearing each other, or trying to learn about how to learn about listening to each other and embrace each other, because we are separate. We have been separate, and now the world is changing. This is such an exciting time that the world is changing, and we have to listen to each other. But see, I come from a place of the body with yoga, breath and meditation, and there's such marvelous tools to help us. How can we actually become more resilient, which Mary Jane is really into, it's a resiliency. And so that it's easier for us to give up what we feel is important, what we feel is right. So there's so many ways that we can do this, and it's companies being willing to look at talking to each other and hearing each other, and putting in modalities that allow people to actually experience that, like yoga or breathing or meditation or anything that would work. And I'm hoping that those things are starting to come more into the workplace and empower people to do that. Because then you can feel when you're feeling, I'm resistant, and nobody wants to be resistant. But I really love the fact that you're embracing each other.
Thank you. Yeah, it's. I understood that Diana is not able to talk, but she's very active in the chat, so you can read her comments there. Creating a collaborative environment to network with others across different levels and generations, very important. Yeah. Well, why are we focusing on that? It is important to create that multi-generational environment is, what we discussed, and what Rosalie also mentioned in the beginning, this is a huge group of people that is growing fast.
Mhm.
You, believe me, you don't want them to sit at home because we cannot afford to sit at home.
Yeah.
You cannot afford to pay for our pension. So you really we need everyone to stay active, but also everyone wants to stay, wants to be valued, wants to be challenged, wants to be seen. But it might be in a completely different role than what they have been doing. And to come back to the situation, Rosalie, if you feel someone is blocking your way to the top, talk to them and ask them to mentor you. Because that is important. And the top is really small. There's not everyone going there. And what is also very important, and we talk about that with many, the older generation, is that it is not valued to make a career on a horizontal level. It is, everyone sees that career as a way to the top. While there are so many other ways to, and you already see it, what the three of you have done. And if you ask, others for their experience, you are doing so many different things already. So to make a career, as wide as possible, instead of as high as possible, that is also a totally different perspective. So, that is something I think we also talked about in the panel in Cyprus, is that multi-phase life. So actually, if you look at multi-stage life, you look at the future, you will probably live into way your 90s, maybe even in your 100s. So you need to see, okay, so what do I want to do in each different phase of your life? And that is also what this generation needs to look at. If someone is 50 years old right now, they probably will have to work another 25 years. 25. So you really want them in the workforce because they need to do that. So I think there is also an opportunity. Mentoring is something that is a lot done by the older generation. Their knowledge, experience, and wisdom is something that can be shared with everyone, but also reverse mentoring. So this means that a younger person mentors an older one, so that you can keep them updated and teach them how to use Zoom. They need to, Eileen, they just keep on going because they really need to use it. That is the future. So educate them as well. There is this thing in between all these different generations that is so important, that we really start, listening to each other, start working together, but also, and that is, Constantina, I think you shared that was something that you do to teach women in prisons.
Yep.
How to become...
No, we don't teach them, we provide them the services. We have a volunteering program. It's 2 times per week. I'm so sorry, my puppy here. I'm sorry. I don't have children, but I have 4 fur children. So they are here, the 2 of them. I'm sorry. We have a program which is our employees can be part of it as volunteers, and we provide to women who are in prison treatments, beauty treatments. We don't teach them because they are not allowed to use the tools to cut the nails for safety, for their safety rules, but we provide them this they feel nice, they feel beautiful, they feel that they have a small part of a regular life, you know. And this is add, you know, about the things that we already discussed, that what I realized now through this conversation, what it really worked to at least my company, for not having, you know, discrimination between the older and the younger generation, is that we don't, you know, we don't pay so much attention, you know. They have the same how can I explain it? We don't have, you know, to over analyze their age. I just say this is the idea of the company. Do you like it? Do you want to be part of it? Do you want to be dedicated to this process? If yes, I don't care if you are 50 or 40 or 60, you know. I know I'm not, if what I say it's clear enough, but for me, analyzing so much the mean, how important is the age of a person is the start of the problem. If we don't see the age and we just see what this person could do in which position of a company, of a store, of I don't know, everywhere, then we maybe could solve the problem, maybe. But yes, the program is, but now we cannot go due to COVID. We stopped. We impatiently wait to start again, because you know, through this program we also build some emotional relation with them. Absolutely. With those women.
Yeah. I think it's great, you know, it's all starting with giving. Okay, what I would like to do, thank you, Constantina, for sharing. What I would like to do, because we have 4 minutes left, actually, just one short statement from you, from, well, Constantina, you already actually did what I was asking for. Just maybe one short statement that you feel like, okay, so this is really something that I've experienced now in this session. So let's just all do this. So Mary Jane, would you like to start?
Yeah, I guess what came into my mind is the openness of this conversation. And I'm really, really happy to have heard Aline and Constantina, Rosalie, your thoughts, your ideas as young people looking at this aging population and how we can work together. So thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Mary Jane. Aline?
Well, I'll end it with a small statement, a small quote that I always like to read it or remind myself about it, that we can never do it alone. We all need help. I can't remember this quote that says this idea, but what I know, that no one can do it alone. Especially for women, it's very good to support each other the same way we're doing here. And today we met great new ladies that we don't know from another country. And we can all support each other in any idea, in any mission, in any vision that we have for this world.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Before I move to Rosalie, on Facebook, there have been quite some statements. One of them was, she mentioned actually a couple of times, Bella from Kenya, that she's very impressed and wants to learn more also about your political experience, Rosalie. So how about your statement, Rosalie?
Just to combine the two, I think it's the same situation in politics as well. They don't allow new people to join, and even if you do join, you end up being a Muppet that's being moved around. So I think what's important is to value the youth and to stop looking at them like we don't have an opinion or we have so much to learn, to start being heard after 20 years, I think we do have things to say, because even though we lived less and we have less experiences, we have a different point of view. And the point of view is important. And something I say is, if you have an average age of 60-year-olds in a parliament, for example, how does that represent society? It doesn't, right? Because the same if it's a bigger percentage of males, it's not correct, again, representing society. So both gender and age need to be balanced in a parliament, in a company, in anything. And I think the whole idea needs to change. And I think there's a big movement happening for women, but there should also be a big movement happening for this generational collaboration, because it's equally important. And that's what I want to say. Thank you. Thank you for having me today.
Thank you, Rosalie. Wise words. Maybe Diana, if you want to add something, you can type it in the chat. Tatiana.
I would say that my final words were around communication, because I think communication is the key to open our thinking, to open our eyes to what's happening to different people in different corners of the world, in different environments. And I think this one term that to describe a problem that we see in terms of demographics is a wicked problem. It's not a problem that there's a simple solution. Wicked problems are those that, unless we completely break the mold and think laterally, we cannot solve. So adding a couple of years to the work life or adding this and that will never be enough. We need to completely deconstruct and reconstruct a new way of work that includes all generations. So there you are. Thank you.
Absolutely, Tatiana. I see Diana. Thank you, everyone. I agree. Communication and working with others. We can't do this alone. It's not one simple solution, although little steps will create a new way. Yes, fantastic. Okay, Diana, it would be great if your microphone works next time so that you can really jump in the conversation. For me, it is always, it's one of my favorites is the more diverse the group, the more lively the conversation and the more innovative the solutions. So it is about coming together and doing it together. And that is really very, very, very interesting. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Rosalie, Aline, and Constantina for being our guests this week. Thank you, Mary Jane and Deborah and Diana for joining us. Thank you, Tatiana, of course. Again, a glimpse of what is happening at the Wize Move Society, and that is an online community for the 50+ generation, or the Wize generation, as we call them. Really a fantastic group of people who are acting and not just talking, and that's very important, reinventing their lives so that they can really join in the conversation and join in the economy and in society again in a new way than they have done before. So we love to see you there as well, and thank you again. Next week, Tuesday, 5 o'clock, we have another live conversation. Thank you all.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye, thank you. I've got to
run.
Yes, I got to run. Run to the bus stop.
Oh, run to the bus stop. That's good.
Just pick up my daughter.
Okay, we're still live.
Lovely conversation. Thank you.
Live stream. Yes. Okay. Stop recording. I'm sorry. Still. Yeah.